And then also what I'm going to do in a second is I'm going to share my screen. So I just wanted to welcome everybody to week 2. While other people are still joining on, what I wanted to mention about week 3 is it's going to be intense. And I'm going to give you probably 10 tips and tricks about your database. And at least half of those you've never heard before. And I'm going to give you some of the secrets to the very top agents in this country. When I say top, I'm saying 500 to 1,000 transactions or more. I'm actually meeting with a couple of them this week to make sure I'm not missing out on anything. So it's going to be pretty insane, guys. And the reason I'm waiting for week number 3 is because I know some of you guys still need a little more time and still need a little more counseling on which CRMs that you want to use. You know, the old saying, you know, any CRM matters, or doesn't matter as long as you're using it. Well, I don't believe that to be true in today's technological world. If you watch that team video, that was the first one that I think you guys should watch there. It talks about the CRM in there. And if you're taking notes at a desk right now, some of the things that I want you to look for, and the most important things are the AI with dynamic texting or dynamic searching and the behavioral texting. And the mass text and mass email is also very important. And there's only a couple CRMs that do it all and do it all well. KV Core, the one we get at EXP, and the one you could buy off the street is really good for that. The Firepoint one is good. And if I had to guess a third, it would be Lion Desk. And some of the other ones like Commissions Inc. and stuff like that do it, but it's so expensive that there's a lot of people on this call that aren't about to pay $2-3 grand a month for a CRM. So we'll just leave it at that for now. So make sure you guys get that. And the reason I started with what we're doing today is because it's going to tie in very well. And this, what I'm going to talk to you about today is truly the secret of my career in the last, say, 10 years. And I'm so passionate about it because it's darn near free for the most part. And I just want everybody to understand the seriousness of what Facebook can do for you and how it's added $500,000 a year in commissions to my bank account, how fun it is and how easy it is. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go to the little presentation that we have, that I have open somewhere around here. And I'm just going to dive right in. So week 2, oh yeah, I had to do a little housekeeping. We had some, quite a bit of drama pop up this week actually. And that always happens when you have a big group, and I need to stop that. I shouldn't say drama, but some of it felt like it. You guys know me. Some of you know by now, I speak my mind. All right. So in our group, which is Agent Mechanics, I understand half of you guys are really excited and proud to be at our company, but the other half of you guys don't want to hear about it. They're here for free coaching. And I understand, and like while I was on the road, my team and I had fun, like doing social media damage control, like hurrying up and deleting posts and stuff like that, because I understand the questions lead into why we're so excited and proud of our company. But let's leave the people alone, guys, and let's not get in little company wars. If you are absolutely excited and you want more information, the group we're allowed to freely discuss our company is EXP Pros, and you guys can all join that, EXP Pros. Please add people that are committed. I had a bunch of people this week add, 10, 20 people from their teams and their friends and stuff like that, and that's cool. But what happens is they look at the group for a few minutes, and then they cause questions or type something that makes no sense and wastes everybody's time. So if you guys can say, hey, listen, if you're going to be in this group, make sure you go every weekend, do the homework, listen to the video and all the videos that come along with it. Yes, and this was the funny one. So I love you, Overachiever Analyticals. Everybody that was listening to the podcasts that were done 2, 3, 4 years ago in some cases. They're saying, well, you should have said this, you should have said that. Well, yeah, I know technology has changed. Trust me, when we redo them, we'll add all the new technology. So if you have little ideas and stuff, privately let me know. You don't need to tell the group, well, Mike's an idiot because he didn't talk about this Facebook ad. Well, yeah, well, 5 years ago when I did that, it wasn't available. So yeah, I get it. Show me your homework and ask. Again, a lot of you said, I just didn't want to bug you. I know you were out of town. We were following you on social media, but I do put in a couple hours aside, you guys, for my coaching clients, and I do care about this. And remember, this is how I'm going to be handpicking the 10 people that I'm going to coach one-on-one. So if you're not showing your homework and asking me questions, I have no idea what you're doing. So fair enough. So look, you guys are part of a lot of my friends' coaching groups. And when you quit your coaching because you've met me, it gets me in trouble. So, you guys know how close we are with Club Wealth and stuff like that. Yes, and we're adding a lot of value, and we'd love nothing more for you to save money, but please do not quit your current coaching. We could spend some more time on that in the next few weeks, but for right now, don't even ask that. Just keep everything the way it is and just try to add this on top of it. All right. Let's jump in here. So I consider social media to be a farm, and it's a people farm. And I've been very successful with geographical farms in my life. But when Facebook came out, which I was very hesitant to do, very quickly, my first week, I got a couple listings. And I was like, holy moly, this little platform we're on is no joke. And I want to caution you guys right now to not bail off of this and not be excited to watch it again, because I feel there's a very large percentage of people that think they know what they're doing. And I don't mean any disrespect, but for somebody who spent 6 hours a day on this platform, let me tell you exactly what I mean. And then there's some people out there that just don't have a lot of faith in it. They say, all I see is real estate agents, or I've never gotten a deal from it. So let's just hang in there with me and trust me, right? If it wasn't that important, it wouldn't be week 2. It'd be week 12 or week 16. But this, you guys, is honestly how I've sold at least 50 homes a year from this platform for free. At least 50. So remember, I promised you guys every week is going to be something to add a transaction a week to your portfolio now, or your production now. So follow along. I'm going to try to go through this fast because, again, like most of my classes, this is actually a 3-day workshop, but we're going to break it down in a couple other things. And I didn't have enough time to go through the podcasts and videos to write down everything. So we're going to put the homework in the group a little bit later. And today is my family Disneyland day, so it might be kind of later tomorrow before Deanna gets to it. All right, so let's try to do this. And I don't know, I'm playing, that's why. So tip 1, get as many quality friends as possible. Now, when I talk about quality friends, these are people that can afford to buy, sell, rent, or invest, or refer to you. I'll say that again. This is very important. Buy, sell, rent, invest, or refer to you. So I'll give you an example. There's people that I led in my Facebook world that I love as friends. They might be broke and never even be able to afford a bicycle, but for some ways they're very influential within maybe a nonprofit group or something like that. So you got to open your mind to people and say, I don't want that person, works at Hot Dog on a Stick and is, bankrupt. I don't think they can ever help. But that person might roll up their sleeves 5 days a week and feed, homeless at the food kitchen. So be very careful on that. So quality and qualified friends is what we're looking for. I believe this is much better than a chamber mixer. And for those of you that know me, I'm very into community outreach, and I built my business based on community outreach. I love, more than anything, going to a good old chamber mixer and shaking hands with, 5 quality new people a night. You might spend 2-3 hours doing that. But what I love about my Facebook is it's something I can really touch 20, 40, 100, 200 people in one day and have a very similar impact on what we're trying to do as far as nurturing this relationship. And I'll also I'll also throw in, yes, before you guys start raising your hand, you can do this on LinkedIn, you can do this on Instagram, and we're gonna have some chats about that too. But for right now, this is my favorite way still. Private versus public. Now, this is something I've debated with people for 10 years. They say, Mike, I don't want people to see my private life. And that's cool. I'm going to respect that a lot. But I want you to make a decision. Is Facebook going to be business or is it going to be private? Now, if I can make $500,000 a year, I'm going to utilize this as a tool. So I'm going to make the accommodations and adjustments necessary to not post what I'm not comfortable on, right? If you don't want to post certain family members or interact with certain groups or share or see certain political or religious beliefs, good. We're going to teach you that. So as you're getting fired up in your mind right now and starting to say, well, I'm going to use my business page only, and I'm going to use all this, I'm going to ask you to have an open mind on this and consider using it very private and not so public. We talked about that. Perception is everything. You guys, I couldn't begin to tell you that daily your clients are interviewing you on Facebook. Now, before we would be very private and have your social media kind of hidden and different. But I can promise you right now, based on the amount of business I get from this, people always say, yeah, I checked you out on Facebook and you look pretty normal. You look pretty hardworking. Obviously, I loved your marketing. You look like a well-rounded real estate agent and human. If you are not on Facebook, loud, proud, and public, people today in this generation are going to think you're a weirdo. Okay. So for those of you that say, well, I communicate on Snapchat or I communicate via Instagram Messenger, that's fine. But I'm telling you and promising you right now, you're going to look like a stalker weirdo if you're hidden. It's just the way our society has become today. As long as you're okay losing business, you can do that. But if you want business, consider this. So perception's everything. Be very careful what you put on there. We're going to go through that a little more specifically. Yes, connect with them how they desire. When I do go to a chamber mixer or a function, I will ask people very specifically, hey, what's your social media platform of choice? And it's not weird because I want to communicate with them, and people love their social media channel. So if they say, oh, I'm not really on Facebook, I'm more of a LinkedIn person, okay. That's why we still end up doing LinkedIn. That's why we still end up doing Snapchat. That's why we still end up doing Instagram. So connect with them how they desire. Remember, social media is about life events, especially Facebook. We're going to get into that a lot later. All right, Mike's rule of 4. If you follow this, you're going to do pretty good. They have to know, like, and trust you. So I'm going to go through this quick because I think over the years it's become pretty obvious. People need to get to know you. And what that is your lifestyle. Who are you? What do you do? Like, are you part of, do you water ski? Do you snow ski? Do you have friends that like to go camping? Do you have places in the mountains? What kind of lifestyle do you have? And it's not all about money and showing off, but it is, people want to know kind of what you're into. And that's totally normal because we're humans and we want to know, like if you met somebody at coffee today and you just sat down with them and you'd have to use Ford, right? Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. That's how you communicate with somebody, and that's how you start and build and nurture that relationship. So it's not weird to try to communicate forward through your social media, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. That is your lifestyle. Now, for people to like you, you have to be something of a philanthropist or whatever. You have to give back. People don't like you because you have a yacht. People don't like you because you have a cat. People like you when you start rescuing things and when you start donating to things and when you roll up your sleeves and get dirty. And they start to like you when you add value. Adding value could be like posting a article from Google News the other day or Yahoo Finance the other day about how interest rates are going to be in the 2% range probably by the end of this week. It's never been done before. It's never happened before. But when you can show them the buying power of the difference between 2 and 4%, or the difference in their payments, they start to go, wow, Mike shared with me something valuable, right? It doesn't have to all be about charity and community, but that's a really good place to start. So once they start saying, wow, Mike's adding value, plus he's doing really cool stuff that helps animals or helps people or whatever charity you're involved in, they start to go, you know what? As much as we thought Mike was a cocky, jerky real estate agent, he's actually a pretty cool guy. And now let's move into trust, right? Trust is all about your business. If they're going to use you for a real estate agent, make sure they trust you. And if you're posting a listing once a day and proving to them that you work in a nice office and you have a nice team and you're constantly doing education and doing the things necessary in real estate, like conferences and doing, getting more and more knowledge and sharing that knowledge with other people, they're going to say, now I know Mike, he's a fun guy. I really like him because he rescues dogs, but now I trust him because he sells a crap ton of real estate. Now I have this complete circle of why I like him. And then nothing negative, no sex, no politics, no religion, and nothing negative. If you are sick throwing up this morning and have the flu, nobody cares. Nobody wants your negativity spewed on them. I know people that are so into the law of attraction, if they watch enough people talk about being sick, they'll make themselves sick. If a client wants to call you today and put their house on the market, but they see you're sick on Facebook, they might call another agent because they have to hurry up and get this house on the market. And I say that because it actually happened to a friend of mine I was coaching in Arizona. We had a 10-minute argument one day about, I told her to delete that. And she said that when she said she was not feeling good, and 2 days later, she found out she lost a $500,000 listing, which was really expensive where she lived. Political beliefs are some of the worst things in the world. I've cleaned up my Facebook so much that I don't ever see, I shouldn't say ever, but I very rarely see anybody's political beliefs, because the last election I deleted and modified my sphere of influence based on that because I didn't want to see or hear their stuff. Same thing with religion. And of course, we just don't be dirty on Facebook. There's plenty of other websites where you could be nasty and dirty if you want to choose to be. So this is kind of like the foundation of our beliefs on it. I wanted to touch base on this last week we talked about this. So we have this 2 hours a day of prospecting, right? Every day, I recommend to people, do something different. Do for sale by owners one day, call your past clients one day. But when they say, does 2 hours a day of prospecting count for Facebook? The answer is, oh, heck yes. And I see tons of you from Minneapolis, where I just got back from, and I'm almost positive none of you want to do an open house or door knock today. So sit behind your nice warm fireplace and bang out some Facebook, right? So we can move on with that. Now, I think the statistic still is the average real estate agent has less than 2,000 friends nationwide. So that leaves you with 3,000 people to add to your Facebook. And this is where people start going, Mike, where do I find people? It's simple. Connect with your community. Everybody has these little magazines. Everybody has community websites, community blogs, community Facebook groups. There's so many people out there that you can connect with. You just have to have an open mind. So I tell people, start with the little local rags, start with these magazines, because it's cool, man. Like, to go in there and see people that have been either retiring or being promoted or opening new businesses. I mean, this is our community. This is where we live. And these are people that can afford to buy and sell and want to buy and sell. By the way, these are people that can make or break your reputation in days, right? So be very careful with it. And it's kind of like, you can't be mean to people, because it's kind of like going door knocking. We all know door knocking works, but if you went door knocking in a like a Halloween outfit and you were dressed up as Dracula, you probably get the wrong impression. So you just try to be cool with that and try to keep your reputation clean. But where to find friends, connect with your community constantly. If you don't want to look at magazines, go be on committees, go be part of the chamber, go be whatever it takes to be in your city and make an impact. All right. So birthdays. Sorry for my team watching and a lot of people that I coach already. You know, these are my claim to fame, and I actually got another deal this week because of it. Birthdays are freaking spectacular, and my story is being born on Christmas Eve. Nobody ever remembered my birthday. Just my mom, right, and maybe my girlfriend or my best friend. So when Facebook came out, it was pretty spectacular to me, and I understood the power of a birthday because when I felt good on my birthday, I knew other people did. So I started messing around and playing with it. I like to acknowledge your birthdays first thing in the morning. You wake up, it's your birthday, nothing is changing your mind. You feel like a freaking rock star. So I want to be the first person when they have a really open mind to go be sucked into their mind. And it's all video. I did a test on my birthday last year, just a few weeks ago or a couple months ago, whatever it was. I have, let's say, 1,000 people reaching out to me of my 5,000. And I wanted to know what was most impactful, which I knew was video. I'm not going to goof around with it, but now you can add things to your stories, and you can do a bunch of other stuff, and there's a bunch of apps you can do little cutesy wootsy things of pictures of you back in the past together. But what I realized out of 1,000 touches was I only got 5 or 6 videos. And of course they were coaching clients that knew better. So that was the most impactful. When somebody added it to my story, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see who it came from, nor did I really care, because there would be, every time I checked my phone, there'd be 20 new ones, right? So the videos, they had to be private too. They have to be private so you don't look like the dirtbag real estate agent looking for work. Talk about that. Also, what's so cool is there's so many different ways to do reminders now. There's a lot of apps that have cards that you could send out, like send out cards, and I forget all the other names of them, but that's the one I like the best. But there's reminders you could set in your calendar. There's reminders on the birthday card apps. So I guess like the little goofy cards that I'm telling you not to use. I have the apps, but it tells me who their birthday is. And what they do is they could link up with all your accounts. So somehow, some way, my iCal calendar is different than my Google calendar. And when they sync, I see birthdays differently. And then I see some that are not on Facebook, and I see some that are from LinkedIn. So all these different apps that I put together, I have a much better chance of pulling in a lot more birthdays. And one of the biggest things about agents are like, I don't want to bug somebody. I don't know what to say to them. And I have lots of scripts for calling people out of the blue, but birthday is obvious, right? I want to wish you a happy birthday. And they're not going to say, oh, Mike's a dirtbag real estate agent. He's just trying to get business. No, it's your birthday. I want to say happy birthday. So it's fine. Add any kind of personal touch. Don't just send a random video message out of your camera roll. Just say, hey, Larry, it's Mike. I see it's your birthday. I saw you got a new car last week. I saw your son did really good in his football game. Whatever, make it a personal touch, and always with the call to action. What are you doing for your birthday? Where have you been the last couple of weeks? If you could have anything for your birthday, what would it be? Those types of things. And then using birthdays to weed out friends. Again, sorry for those of you guys that get pounded by this every day. This morning, I had about 15 birthdays, and I deleted about 10 of the people, which felt good because now I have room for new friends. Like I met people this week traveling, and I wasn't able to accept their friend request because I had like one friend left. And what if the president requested me? I have to save at least one, right? So if they're not relevant in my life anymore, and I'll give you an example because this is where people say, oh, you're a jerk again. Let's say it was this week. I traveled and I was at the airport, and I met some guy that works at a carpet cleaning company that I'll never see him again as long as we live. However, during that conversation, you never know what somebody could end up being to you. So we requested each other sitting there, and we had a great conversation. I'm not going to remember to go delete the guy 2 days later, but a year later, 6 months later on his birthday, I'll say, who is that? Oh gosh, that's right. He was a cool guy. I met him in a bar. I met him at a restaurant, whatever, but I'll never hear from him again. Delete. Or it could be somebody that you're just like if it's somebody's birthday and I feel weird inside about like doing a goofy video to them, it's probably somebody I'm not going to want to do business with too. So I delete them also. If I can't pick up the phone and go, what's up? Happy birthday. I love you. I miss you. Let's party. Da, da, da. And out. Because I want those types of people to be in my world. And some of them are influencers. Some of them are politicians. Some of them are celebrities and things like that. And maybe I'm not quite as goofy, but I'll still, if I feel uncomfortable saying happy birthday, they're just not in my life anymore. All right, so the social calendar is my other claim to fame. This is such an old presentation, it's funny. But you guys, as you're going through your Facebook feed, and you could spend probably an hour a day doing this because it's so entertaining and you want to keep up with what's going on with your sphere of influence. But life events, like I said in the beginning, is what this is all about, right? And it's funny. It's always kind of the same thing. You won't see somebody post, but they get a new job. A year later, you can see their last post before was a year. Hey, I got a new job. And it's not even a commission-based job. It's just a thing. Or my grandkid's having a baby. Or little Billy broke his leg at football. Or whatever it is, their life events. They're pretty spectacular. If they're willing to go out of their way and put it on a computer, that means they're probably pretty proud of it, or scared of it, or something, and they want to talk about it. So it's okay. So obviously get involved with a private message. Oh, little Billy broke his leg today. I'm so sorry. Hit the sad button, do a couple deep comments on their post. But 2 weeks later, schedule it for a private message and a video private message back. How's little Billy's arm? I thought of you when I was driving through your neighborhood today, putting another home on the market. I just wanted to know, did he get his cast off yet? Is there anything you need? I hope everything's going good. So little Billy's mom freaking can't believe you just did that. You thought of little Billy 2 weeks later and asked how his cast was doing and asked these questions. By the way, I don't know if you guys caught that. I might have dropped in there. I was driving through your neighborhood and thought of you when I was putting another home on the market. I didn't ask for business. I didn't ask for a referral. I just reminded Billy's mom that I'm a real estate agent that works in their local community. And I hope that makes sense. And it's not cheesy. Forgive me, you guys, if I don't check the messages right away, because I know a lot of you are sending them to privately. They're all about my beard. That's awesome. All right, so let's go back to that later. I hope you guys like this, because this is something that very, very, very few people do. If you think video messages are rare, talk about follow-up video messages. This is what separates you from the masters of social media, and this makes you a master of social media. And I don't know why I can't move forward. All right, my other claim to fame. I had to say something. I blast a bunch of new messages. Yep. All right, cool. So groups, very, very, very important. Since Facebook only lets me allowed to have 5,000 friends, I'm going to be very active in groups. Dang it, it went too far. All right, so let's say, and I'll just use Minneapolis again because I just got back from there. So Minneapolis in search of. Minneapolis, dog rescue group. Minneapolis garage sales, Minneapolis, anything. All these groups are very, very powerful. And I'm going to caution you right now as a real estate agent, don't get mad if those groups are already taken, right? We're 10 years behind the game. We should have done this 10 years ago, and now we could have had 25,000 people in our groups. But one thing I can promise you is there are groups available out there. You just have to have a much different open mind, much different hobbies. What else can you do? But as you interact in these groups, be really helpful. So as a realtor, I know tons of vendors, right? Painters and electricians and plumbers, and in search of group, or they even have a contractors group, and they say, I'm looking for blank. Cool. I'll totally reach out and say, I'm going to send you a private message, and I just be helpful with these people. You'll start to see, like any group, there's always the top 10% that seem to live in these groups. But what happens is they will start tagging you and asking you in these groups. For instance, plumber, electrician, all that stuff, somebody would type a plumber, I'm looking for a plumber. And then somebody will say, hey, that real estate agent Mike Bjorkman last week had one, and tag me in it. And then I will respond. But pretty soon, I'm starting to add friends from private groups. Another way to find these people that are influential, that can afford to buy, rent, sell, invest, or refer. And I hope that's making sense to you guys. Negativity and bad opinions, keep it to yourself. If somebody refers the worst carpet cleaner you've ever had and they actually dented your cabinet so bad that you would never use them again, private message them. Don't be public about your bashing. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes your negativity. And I know that you guys want to save the world, and sometimes you say, everybody has the right to know that this guy's a jerk. No, that person could have fixed it. That person could have had a bad day. But even more important, those people watching you think you're a jerk for publicly bashing someone. And then you'll get old, what storm, and it's not fun. So I do a lot of private messages with my groups, and then we'll move on because, again, this is a 3-day workshop. Groups that I've started or managed, a couple of these are pretty cool. My neighborhood group, I didn't start, and it's kind of like an HOA, but I'm involved in it a lot. I live in a city called Newhall. We'll get a transaction out of there, a couple times a year. I get tons of referrals from my default network group. I get lots of stuff. I used to get lots of stuff. Kids that go to Heart. It was our little football group. Referrals from real estate agents promoting real estate referral groups, Antelope Valley. I like side-by-sides, off-road vehicles. I have about 50, 60 people in here. I have a home in Arizona, Lake Havasu. I have about, a couple hundred people in here. So although they're not necessarily my friends, they do look up to me. I do control the content. I do control how many realtors are and what they're allowed to say in the group. So I just have other areas of spending more time, because you can't just spend all day long on your feed. It'll get boring and you'll start losing track of what's going on. All right, more about groups. So this particular group, Newhall Today, you'll see Tammy and I, my ex-partner, we actually did a video and pinned it to the top. And this is why I wanted to point this out. People say, well, I don't want to start a group and then be that realtor. Yeah, you do. And in this group, this video right here, it says, hey, this is Mike and Tammy. We are your local Newhall realtors. And it almost sounds like we're assigned to this town, right? And we talk about, in this group, you can talk about lost dogs, garage sales, if you see any crime, any events coming up, anything that might affect the area. And you can see back here, we did this, it was a lot less. I only had 330 members. In my farm, there's only 1,000 people. So, but it's quality, not quantity on this one. And we were getting a lot of listing leads from this when we were working it really hard. So I'd say take advantage of groups like that. So get your neighborhood, get your area, your community. And it's okay if there's other smaller ones or bigger ones, just go over and you can take it over if you add a lot to it. Let's see what that is. Okay. All right, we're gonna have to, hey, everybody try to keep the chats down until we're done and then chat about it in the group, because the problem is people are trying to pay attention to this and then it goes away after this. But if you're active in the group afterwards, it keeps our group alive and then it doesn't disappear. All right, going live. I don't know if you guys know, but I've been in Facebook jail for 3 days. Somebody hacked my account and they shut all my accounts down. They just reopened it this morning, thank God. But you might see that I've been going live for my attitudes of gratitude, getting 200 to 300 views a day from people that can afford to buy, sell, rent, invest, and refer. And people are probably saying, that's pretty cool. The cocky jerk real estate agent actually has a heart and he's telling people that he cares about them and why. Birthdays, you can go live at birthday parties. Don't just go live and say, I want to wish Joe a happy birthday. You'll really look like a dirtbag agent. But if you're at a party or an event, something like that, charity events, it's okay to help promote and go live all the time. I don't think I need to talk about lives anymore, because when I first started doing this, nobody would do it because they were so scared. But live is, the algorithm is off the charts, you guys. And if you want to get over some fear, this is a really darn good way to do it, trust me. Like my first couple lives, I did my hair and how's this location? Do I have a dog in the background? No, I just go live. I don't care if I have a booger hanging out. Oh, what's up? And we just talk about it. And people love that authenticity and that just being you. right? And if they don't like you, fine, they can delete you. It's okay. But go live a lot. All right, so we're going to talk about database next week tremendously, right? So I want these people in your Facebook, and we're going to talk about ways to data scrape Facebook and data scrape your phone. But let's work on Facebook right now, because these are probably the smartest or the most, probably the closest people to give you a referral. So when you ask to be friends, ask the right way. Send them a private message and say, hey, it's Mike Bjorkman. I see you work at the city on the trash collection committee, and I appreciate what you're doing, and I've always been interested in that. Thought we might be a good connection because I'm on a couple committees at the city too. Friend request, right? Don't be shy. And this is my favorite thing in the world. I've had these debates with people, and they say, well, I'm not going to just go friend request somebody. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? You go door knock strangers during dinner time when they're changing diapers, but you're worried to touch them on Facebook. Like, let's get real. So don't get over the fears of asking that. Organized, huge mistake. I suck at databases, you guys, and I'll just be honest. Day one, I knew I should have created lists and I didn't. You know, people in the community, people that are real estate agents, people that are part of anything. You can make all these lists in Facebook and you can market just to those lists and you can sort your data that way. And now I have 5,000 friends and I have realtors mixed in with vendors mixed in with, it's just terrible. So please, as you go forward, put everybody in your list. We just talked about that a little bit. Mutual friends are a really powerful thing. It's a lot how I accept people, because if I don't know them, I want to see what kind of clout they have by the people they hang out with. And I firmly believe you are the average of the 5 people you're around the most. So if I look at somebody's mutual friends and I see a bunch of ding dongs, I'm going to not accept their friend request. Like if you're friends with those 5 people and nobody else, you're out. And remember, people are doing that with you too. But if I see you're friends with some of the biggest ballers in our community, I'm going to find out why. And you bet you I'm going to accept your friend request or ask you to be a friend. So keep that in mind. What time is that? Far behind. Oh my God, we got a whole booty. I hate to say, we might even do a part 2 of this. Add their contact information to your phone. We're going to data scrape your phone, but we want all the information in your phone. I don't necessarily like the way Facebook takes it and adds it to your phone, because 9 times out of the 10, they delete their cell phone numbers out of your phone when they do the sync. So I actually block that. Some people argue with me and I'm not sure which is right, but what I do know is I've time tested and proven that Facebook will delete as they sync. So be very careful with that. Partner with the people as you ask them. I do that a lot of times with business pages. I'll say, hey, I'm interacting with a painter, and I'll say, hey, are you the owner of the painting company or the social media marketing person? And they'll say, yeah, I'm the owner, interacting as the page. And I'll say, hey, well, what if I said we're going to have a drawing for a bedroom of painting for free, and I'll use you. Can we partner together that way? And I do a lot of different stuff like that with local vendors. Retargeting. We're going to talk about that when we talk about our database a lot more. Just remember, you guys, we're going to pixel everything. Fill out your property profile. Fill out your profile properly. I had a couple agents today that asked to be part of my EXP Pros group, asked to be part of this group, asked to be part of some of my other things. And when it has one picture and it doesn't say who they are, where they are, their phone numbers, their website, anything, to me, they look like a hacker, and they're going to do something and damage my social media account, kind of like what happened last week. So make sure it says loud and proud, Mike Bjorkman. Here's my cell phone. Here's my email. Here's my professional headshot. Here's my logo. Here's everything. So you don't think I'm a weird stalker creeper person when I'm requesting you. And I hear people laugh when I say this all the time, but double check yourself. Go look at your profile right now. And I was trying to say this the nice way, but let's put it this way. I've looked at a lot of your stuff and it needs some help, you guys. So go back through and properly figure it out. It's amazing to me how many people don't know you're an agent. All right. So remember this, you guys, we're going to enhance our database right now. So we want to add all these people to our database. We're jumping ahead a little bit. So if you're starting to use your CRM now, which I hope you are, There's a couple programs that we've used over the years to get people's information. So maybe Facebook might have their website, but not their cell phone number, not their email. So we use Intellius and White Pages. And recently we found one called fastpeoplesearch.com, where we can find out a lot of information on them for free. So when you do ad, you might be able to find a cell phone number. You might be able to find an email. So when you're mass marketing through your CRM, it works out really good. We talked about the CRM a little bit. We're going to go fast through this because we're running out of time. All right. One of my favorite things is use the left side of your Facebook, which nobody does, you guys. It's crazy. So you can interact as a business and just go in a whole nother world of Facebook that's so fun and so exciting. And I'll tell you guys, most people can't afford marketing people to do this properly. So the owners of all the businesses are actually working their own Facebook pages, and they'll go into that business mode. And we as business owners start communicating with each other in a different way. It's a much more professional way. And it's kind of weird. It feels like everybody's blindfolded, but then when you start to get to know them, you see the people that are behind them, and you see real legitimate small business owners really trying to do good in your community. And if they see the feelings mutual and you guys can cooperate, you know, that's where I talk about brainstorming the ways you can partner. And the business feed is much different than the personal feed. And it's kind of interesting to see how powerful the people are on there. Interesting how you've been invited to old events, like birthday events and these little things on the side here in the middle that I'm looking at. It could be 2 years ago and you went to an event, and you can go back into that event and just kind of start clicking around and looking around and communicating with people. It's kind of weird to see how people hang on to these events. And then if you go to the far right side, you'll see events are really a big deal. Like nowadays, people don't really do anything in life without creating an actual event on social media. And I knew this was going to happen a couple of years ago, but finally it happened. So when you're creating events, you can do a lot of cool stuff with events that you normally couldn't do with just your personal profile. So make sure you go to your events site and look at the events. Sorry guys, I'm gonna mute everybody again. Mute all. Why is that not working? How did somebody unmute it? That's crazy. Mute all. Mute all. Mute all. Who's chatting? All right, so let's move on. All right. Everybody go on mute right now. Grab your phone, grab your computer, and go on mute, please. For some reason, my controls won't let me mute everybody. And if you're moving around and banging around, that's probably you. I can still hear people. That's weird. I've never seen this not let me mute everybody. Jory making noise. All right, there's so many people and moving if you look at the screen. Everybody just try to go on mute, please. All right, let's bone out of this screen and let's try to get to, I think what we're gonna have to do is have a part 2 of this, but for right now, we're gonna try to just hammer through some of these things, and then you guys can go back and listen to some of the social media that goes along with this or the podcast. Okay, we know share listings from business page. We're gonna skip through this all because we're gonna do this later. All right, I'm gonna jump right into the 30-day action plan. This was actually in almost every one of the videos that I've done lately, and it's so important. It's not even funny, because if you guys truly want to add a transaction a week, this is it. Like, again, this week I've talked to more people that are just blown away by how fast it's starting to work. I tell everybody it's about 90 days, and you're gonna wanna see the text for slide information right there. This is a good time where you guys wanna write that down. Text action plan to that phone number. But 2 or 3 people, at least 3 people this week have said, Mike, it's working faster than I thought. I told everybody to work on 90, 10 new friends a day. And now that you've had the class on who to add and what kind of people to add, 10 a day, 10 influencers a day. We already went through that. 10 private messages with call to actions. This is big. People say, oh, I don't have time to do this. Well, this is actually like having an open house and having 10 actual conversations with people. Call to action is very simple. What are you doing this weekend? How was your trip I saw you go on? Again, the private message, how was Billy's little arm through the social calendar? These are things that will start getting you reactions and leads immediately. One of the things I say to people when we do have a conversation back and forth, I say, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it's my fault. I noticed that not only do I not have you on my Christmas card list, but I also don't have you on my Market Watch program. And of course, they always ask what that is. And I say, oh, it's just simple. Homes in your neighborhood come on the market and you get them before anybody else. Before we started this class today, I had an email set up for myself through the MLS on a listing that I was working on. And I told Debbie, our assistant, I said, make sure you get this information to them. And I know they're not big computer people. So I was like, hey, I had to reach out and say, Debbie, make sure they have this information. But in reality, if I would have known they were big computer people, they would have already been getting listings dropped on them through a dynamic search site. So I hope that makes sense, guys. Deep comments, it's hard. And I'll be the first guy to admit it. Hold on, my dog wants out. I'll be the first one to admit it that doing deep comments sometimes feels awkward and sometimes it's like a time restraint. But remember, if we're focusing 2 hours a day on prospecting, you have to do it because I promise you it beats door knocking. I promise you it beats setting up open house signs in the snow. I promise. But what a deep comment means is, let's say they did go on a vacation. You just say, hey, Joe, looks like you had a blast. I've always wanted to see the Ritz-Carlton in St. Thomas. Was the restaurants good? What else did you do to have fun? And now that it's over, I think it's 10 words that Facebook wants to see, that's considered a deep comment, and your algorithm will be stepped up tremendously with Joe. That's why I say go through your feed so far and so low and spend 30 minutes going that far down. You're going to actually get to that point where, and I love saying this, how many of you today actually looked at Facebook and saw something that was posted yesterday and not today? That is a surefire indication that your Facebook algorithm is way wackadoodle and you're not doing it properly. Every time you look at your Facebook feed, you should see nothing posted from the day before unless it was a paid advertisement. That's what kind of interaction you're going to get with people. And people say, well, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see all those people. I don't want to see those. I want to see very important people to me. My people that you said, the people that could buy, afford, to rent, sell, invest, and refer. Well, that's why you're careful on who you do that with, because you can custom make your own algorithm through Facebook. So now you have the sphere of influence of 500 people that you see daily, instead of right now, you might have 10 that you see daily. And I hope that makes sense. The social calendar, add 10 a day. It's super easy to do. So the idea, folks, is by next, what is this? It's March. So by April, you'll have an entire list in every single day of the week, or the days you choose to work, 3-4 days a week. You'll have an entire list of 5 to 10 people a day to pick up the phone and call and send video private messages. And then if you're really that good, you'll go back through the last social calendar. And then if you want to follow up with those people, hey, by the way, you were not, I was checking my Christmas card list, you're not on it. Hey, is it okay if I add you? And then you could talk about the market programs. And you're having this dialogue now, so it's not weird and freaky that you're having these conversations. They're actually your friends. Remember, they're your friends on Facebook, and it's a social calendar. And again, if it ever feels weird or not quite right, then it's time to delete those people out of your life. Okay, 10 videos and birthday videos. How many videos can we do? And I'd say 10 videos a week, not a day. Don't worry and hang up on me here. But the videos are really, really important. So if you look at I was in Facebook jail the last few days, but if you look the couple of weeks previously, I tried the lives every day for the attitude of gratitude is a very big deal. So I don't need to overcompensate for that. But I did do a couple other videos. Like I went live I think in the middle of the week about something different. And then I'll post a couple of videos of me and, you know, my 1031 exchange video or something that adds a little bit of value real estate wise. It doesn't have to be just something weird and goofy. Probably today I'll do something from Disneyland because God knows there's so many freaks out there that love that terrible place, but I'll do it for the gram, you know what I mean? I'll do a video of me and the family or something. It's kind of funny, like you might be laughing, but my kids actually know when a good post is near. Like they'll be like, Dad, this would be a good post. And yes, I love my family, but yeah, I do exploit them for social media because people will actually look at that. And that's probably a terrible word to use, but it's very true. That's how they were raised, right? The last 10, 15 years, it's all about making money. And if you remember during the recession, we didn't really come back out of this until 2011, 2012. So they actually remember the days that we had to consciously think about posts and what could we do to make more money. And as a family, like try to do things like that. So it was pretty interesting. So let's move on a little bit. 20 listings a month. Don't argue with me on this one, you guys. People see less than 10% of everything you post, and that's a pretty high number. So don't say, I don't want to bombard people with listings. Yeah, you do, I promise you, because this is what's going to, that's what happens when I read chats. I lose my train of thought. This is what's going to make people trust you. So if you post a listing every day, at least on work days, they're going to be like, hey, Mike has a listing here. Oh, Mike has a listing here. I like when you're diverse with it too, because I get sick of the same old, you know, Tour Factory or there's like Home Seekers or something that you guys do that is probably the worst thing I've ever seen for posting a listing. But this is a good chance for you to go out and do videos. Now, I'll give you real quick a couple of video apps. I didn't realize that people had such a problem editing video. So if you went out and did a home and it doesn't have a video that you can borrow, but you could go through and take, you guys might remember Videolicious back in the day. You take your phone, hold it straight, and do a 3-second video of the backyard. Guys. And then like a 3-second video this way of the pool. And then you can go to like Quick, the app from GoPro. My favorite's Videorama, and there's probably 100 apps out there. You literally click and go beep, 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 beep on your video clips. It merges as a virtual tour, and you just hit the talk button and go over and go, hey guys, it's Mike Bjorkman. 3 things you have to know about this house that just came on the market today, right? Pool, view, cul-de-sac, whatever. But it's so easy to do video, it's not even funny. And I urge you not to post about listings unless it is video of some sort, either you doing a live, you doing a chop up video like we just talked about, or interviewing somebody at the home that owns it or that bought it or something. So they see you're interacting with real estate on a daily basis, which you're supposed to do. And I'll kind of throw in there, I did have a friend that had a wife, and she wouldn't listen to him. So she came to me and I said, what's going on? She goes, I'm just known as the football soccer mom and the charity mom, but nobody's giving me business. And I said, cool, let's check it out. So I scrolled through 30 days of her Facebook. Sure enough, she's doing amazing community outreach, but zero about her business. Now this girl's kind of a badass. She's got a big office. She's got a big team. She sells a lot of homes, but she never felt comfortable talking about business on her social media. So we changed that around. Within days, she started getting more and more and more leads. And now today her business is back up and running and completely where it should be. So, all right, so let's do the groups too. We talked about the groups on this particular class. Let's start 3 groups and let's join 3 groups that we can be active in. I see Joey stuck on the bottom of my screen here. We talked the other day in person about he's a professional wrestler. Well, yeah, let's take advantage of that and let's use a very unique niche of that. So I think he said he already had a group where we're wrestlers and we talk real estate and just, it's a community, right? So maybe you like, I don't know, arts and crafts, or maybe you like latch hook. I don't know, but my groups are really small and they still do a lot of damage for us as far as getting new leads. Maybe you love pools and maybe you want to go around the neighborhoods and look, when you preview property every day, take pictures of really unique pools, things like that, create a group of pools. So what is your hobby? What's your passion? What are you good at? What are you friends with? What type of people do you want to hang out with and do some business with? So I think you guys are starting to realize that you can easily hit 2 hours a day on Facebook alone. And if all you wanted to do was 50 sales a year, and you did this action plan that I've talked about today, you'll hit 50 sales a year, and people will say, I've never seen that person do anything but Facebook. And you'll be the one laughing in the background going, yeah, because that's all I need to do, because that's where my sphere is. That's where my family is. That's where my groups are. That's where my hobbies are. That's where everybody that I need to influence are hanging out. And if they're not, next time we're going to show people how we can pay to get in front of these people's faces. Does that make sense? All right. Yeah, Joey, go ahead, post that in there. All right, let's see if we can go. And yeah, you guys, we have so much left for Facebook. Maybe I'll make it for the couple weeks after we do the CRM class, because we need to talk about how we're going to spend some money on there. I'm going to go on here now, and if you want to unmute and ask any questions for the next couple minutes, we can do that. But I think I'm going to stop here. I think we have enough information today where people are going to be like overwhelmed. So if you want to come off mute, I think you can do that, and I'll hook you up.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
All right, so what is the best way to gain followers in your new group?
That's a great question. Use similar groups. Like if you're in a sewing group, try to find another sewing group, or you can actually use your business page to talk about it, post about it on your personal page and say, hey, I just created this group. Will you please come over to this group and add people? But you go to your group and you go through your friends and you can start tagging and adding your own friends, right? So you can say, who do you want to invite to this group? And you can just start inviting them all by yourself. Once it gets to a certain point, it'll just start to kind of go viral, because your friends that are part of this group know other people that should be part of this group, and they'll just add them and make it, do a checklist every couple of days where you can actually force that to happen. So, okay, guys, well, I want you to know that this has been very fun. Next week's going to be CRM, and then I think, go like this if you can hear me still. Okay, good. So we have a lot of stuff, but if you want to get a head start, if you go on the podcast, the Theory of Social Media Part 1 and 2, Theory of Social Media Part 1 and 2 is in there. It goes a little bit deeper in this. But I feel like right now the homework that I'm going to assign you is already in every one of those slides. Wouldn't you agree? You guys kind of get what to do from that? By show of hands, did anybody say, wow, I really should start using this a little differently? Okay, that made my day. I'm going to Disneyland. Love you guys. Have fun. Talk to you next week, and rock on.